But just here to go ahead and break down the rosters, starting off with Excel. Same roster that we saw last week when they got that tower champion spot, and they will still be running the LEC in mid lane at Exile, of course. Hopefully we'll have that one up in just a second. You see it coming in. There it is. So we've got Sendo in top lane, Taxa back in the jungle, Exile again in the middle lane, Inax on AD and Mystique's on support. People saying maybe Mystique's was a bit robbed of MVP last week. We'll have to see if he's going to get that Thresh this time around. We'll be able to see what Mystique's can pull off in the bottom lane there. Again, Inax was playing really well last week. They had a really good showing just as that duo. Exile, his rise, uncontestable as well. So really looking pretty good on that champion. It's looking to be a really solid roster, and obviously that's why they're at the top of the table here.
This is a whitewash, and this is the end of T-side in this team fight.
Absolute destruction from Portsmouth as they now look to pick up that final kill onto Arc. Rai with a brilliant TP flank coming in there. Probably the first proactive thing he's done all season, but you love to see it, even without the
growth is here.
Yeah, well, it's really developing. Even without the Protofelt, still managed to get a good flank off. And for the first time, you see Flubber go down in a fight. They did a very good job of capitalizing on the fact that he had no flash, but it just wasn't enough. One more light. I don't know. I think maybe his ultimate wasn't available. Ended up using it very late. So late that it actually never went on cooldown. He didn't finish casting it. And a nice capitalization as well. And we were saying that Portsmouth didn't have any peel. They didn't have a front.
Oh, Divinus! What?
All right, Divinus coming in, just picking up Halesy. But who needs a front line when you have Slicing Maelstrom? You see, even though Flubber gets chain CC'd and hit by that Call of the Forge God, Rai moves up to the front, drops the Maelstrom. No one can get through him to capitalize. And then as they're running out, they're just getting gunned down by the piercing arrows. And it's really hard for T-side to sort of fight front to back through that now. And this game is the first time that we're actually seeing Portsmouth lose team fights. We very often see people overcommit. They get too excited once they've killed Flubber, and T-side are playing this calm. They get the kills, they know what they can do, and then they just back off. To be honest, I was a little bit worried when the pillar from Casanero kind of pranked Drazar, because it pushed Rai away, and the bubble didn't connect afterwards, but they still managed to take down Rai, get the kill onto him, and
they're looking for Divinus.
Drazar just needed a little bit more mana to try and pull that one off. Real good job of dodging those spears. Outlaw is pretty good at landing those spears, even without vision, so nice fancy footwork from Drazar. But really, if you get ganked and you walk away with it as a 2-for-2, you are okay with that one. And they blow both of Flubber's summoners. However, CJ still has both of his, so there is a 2-summoner lead for Portsmouth in the bottom lane as Arc just tearing into Rai now.
Going to be gifted the triple as Casanero picks up the third.
And that's why Drazar has had this brand banned out every game. Absolutely tearing up with that Pyroclasm, getting 3 stacks onto all 3 members of Portsmouth, getting so much damage off of that detonation. Just living by the skin of his teeth, but T-side do not care. They are moving in onto the Dragon. All 5 members available. 3 dead for Portsmouth, no teleport, even if Rai was alive. And again, I think this is for the first time in the entire season, Portsmouth are going to concede a Baron. Unless that True Shot Barrage came out a few seconds later, but T-side...
Not going to be the case, and T-side turn the heat up versus Portsmouth Pirates.
This is what they had to do. Play through top, play through mid. They said our bot lane can hold our own versus Flubber. Evidently they can't, but it doesn't matter. Get Arc onto something he is comfortable on. Give him the Renekton. Again, one more light on a real carrier and not being forced to buy that QSS. They can suddenly start to take over these games. Maybe that's the secret. The secret to beating Flubber is just kill him. We always see he lives on such a sliver of health, even after that last fight, and maybe the secret to beating that is just to have more damage.
Casanero is falling down. That's going to be only one who remains as Arc the Dragon takes one more knock-up. They are working through him. Arc tries to make the hero play. And Arc! Do it! Arc, you animal! A triple kill onto the Renekton!
Oh my god, we thought the game was over! Arc on the tiniest sliver of health!
The only one who remains.
My heart, dude! I thought Halesy was going to be the MVP of that fight, at least in Teal side. So he played it so safe, so much respect for Rai and punishing Flubber for going on in. But Portsmouth were able to bring it back with Divinus and Arc. Favorite champion, that Renekton, it would seem, been permabanned out. And now, again, another Dragon picked up at T-side. They are still 5,000 gold behind, but the mid inhibitor did not go down. You have to wonder, will Portsmouth make the same mistake twice? Halesey respawning soon, but he doesn't have his ultimate available. It's a little bit longer for Casimiro and Drazar. Maybe Portsmouth look to force something now, but they're going to be content with the 2 inhibitors they took. I think Teesside really had to make sure, even if they gave up the 2 people that they did when they were leaving, that's okay. They had to just try and keep at least maybe 1 person more alive and make sure that they cleared out the waves in mid, bot and top. Now Portsmouth didn't end up going for the bot lane, which I think was pushing in towards them, but because they couldn't clear out either of those waves, never mind, that's a pretty easy thing to do when you have the Baron, but it was just too risky for them, and that meant that Portsmouth could get the push going. But once again, Portsmouth, they can try and force an end, but they just play it slow, they play it methodical. They want to close this out 3.
I mean, they're going of the hero's end if they want. There's two wards.
We just seen Fnatic come up versus Diabolus, you know, and it was a really, really close game. We saw Excel play Fnatic last week, really close as well, but Excel just coming out on top. And like you were saying, maybe it's a bit of bot lane difference. There's nothing against Xmati, nothing against Prosper, but Excel's bot lane looking really, really strong. And just to hammer that point home a little bit, we're going to have a video coming up here where we spoke to Mystiques about his thoughts on the match.